We are inspired by you. Thank you for joining our Creative Mamas community. Please give us a 5-star rating, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, support Creative Mamas Unplugged on Patreon to get your name in the credits, receive extra content, and earn some fun prizes. With this, we can keep creating, uplifting, and growing this incredible community together. We love you so much. Applause.
Be happy.
Happy. Happy.
Be happy, Mom. Be happy, Mommy.
Come on, keep your chin up.
Enjoy this time.
Smile.
Smile, smile, my darling. Blessings.
Welcome to Creative Mamas Unplugged. We are your hosts. I'm Cherice Barton.
And I'm Shelly Hutchinson. Here at Creative Mamas Unplugged, we navigate the hell out of being creatives while raising humans with humor and heart.
We have honest conversations,
Hear wise words from fellow badass parents, and share hilarious stories from the front lines.
Listen, parenthood is one of the most creative, most difficult jobs in the world. You are not alone, and you deserve to be happy. Hi, friends. Today's guest is a force on stage, behind the scenes, and at home. We are thrilled to welcome Stephanie Klemons, Grammy and Drama Desk Award-winning performer, director, choreographer, and mom of 2. Stephanie originated roles in Hamilton, In the Heights, If Then, and Bombay Dreams. She's choreographed and directed across Broadway, the West End, beyond. She is the Associate Choreographer for Hamilton. It goes on and on. But today, Stephanie shares how the creative tools she's honed, like reading the room and pivoting under pressure, now serve her in motherhood. We talk about parenting beyond fear, balancing compassion with ambition, and how becoming a mom reshaped her leadership. This one is full of warmth, wisdom, and real talk for anyone dancing between art and caregiving. Let's dive in.
Parenting, the right now of it is like, how do I get what I need and you get what you need? And we do it in a way that no one's forcing the other to do the thing, right? I'm not being forced to just fully absolve, okay, you know what? Nobody wants to rehearse today because it's going too hard. We won't open next week. We'll open in 2 weeks. Like, that's not an option.
Right.
So I need us to get here, but you feel I'm pushing. So like, how do we get in conversation about that? Because like the old way, like the whipping with the belt, there was no conversation. That was not with care for the child's, like what they were expressing, or potentially like a misunderstanding. The child did something and they got in trouble. And hey, oh my God, how are you? It's so good to see you. Okay, I can't wait. I'm on a recorded podcast, or I'd come and give you a hug. So I think it's New World Stages is my done now, like 3 shows here. It's
Wait, is that where you are right now?
Yeah, I'm at New World. Yeah. And so it's like, that wasn't taking into account. There was no conversation with the child when that happened. It was
no
just
harmonious parenting.
Right. But it's like in the world now, I'll sometimes have a conversation with someone, an actor or a performer I'm working with that's having a difficult time. And it's like, I will be here and listen. And we have to also set a boundary that we both agree on, that like the boundary is that we have to come up with a solution by this point, or you need some space. And by this point, there has to be a decision. So I think it's like, to me, it's about like boundary setting and boundary respect, because especially right now, as like a Jewish person moving through the world, I want to hold space for the way everybody feels about all of the things. I think I'm entitled to feel that I have a right to exist personally. And I also think that people are entitled to stand up for. And I also think there's so much miscommunication that if we could just sit down, like person to person, have a difficult conversation, and like allow ourselves to set boundaries. Like, you've just said something that's crossed a boundary for me, or I just said something that's triggered you. Let's stop here. Let's talk about it and move on. But it's like, people don't have to have those conversations because we have like the 15-second attention span. So we don't have to sit through what it takes to do something like that. I enjoy making that happen in the world where I live in real life.
So you're saying there's a nice parallel between how you work with actors and how you work with your kids.
Yeah, 100%.
I find they work hand in hand as well.
It's the grace and the forgiveness that is, to me, like, really, because people do want to talk.
Yeah. You're so right. I think this whole thing with parenting, and this is something that I feel is so simple in theory, but it's very complex in action and implementing, which is this whole thing about parenting seems like The right answer is being the model and walking the walk. It's not saying the thing. It's like being the change. Like we can't
Yeah.
just talk about the things we want to change. We actually have to be it. And I remember having like my first baby and hearing somebody say, parenting is so simple because it really is about being the best person that you can possibly be. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds easy enough, you know? And then it's like, but then you realize like the kids mirror the shit that you're not even seeing in yourself. They'll mirror the stuff that's unhealed in you. And so it's like, really, I think at the end of the day, is like you said, is like modeling that. I think that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you do it all with, like, you're so busy right now. I mean, does your wife help out with the kids when you're working, when you travel? Like, you travel a lot.
She is like single parent a lot, honestly. And I travel with them a bunch, not as much as I would like to. But I ask myself all the time, I'm like, why did I decide to do this? Like the travel part of it, like it doesn't get easier. Like you're always, even when you're directing and doing whatever, you're going to open shows out of town. You're going to go out of town for 2 months, 3 months at a time. And that's going to be it for forever and always. And, you know, sometimes I'm like, come with me on this trip. And she's like, I don't want to disrupt myself and the kids. I don't want to do that. You're going to be at work from 10 to 6 days a week. I'm going to be going to like the local library and the playground and trying to fill 8 hours a day while you're gone so that you could, you know, so sometimes those conversations are really hard because I don't, you know, I try to convince her to come on more trips and she agrees to. You know, I'm like, Beyonce and Jay-Z travel with their kids. They're on the road all the, you know, she's like, well, that's great for them. You know, I don't know. I think it's a balance. I think, you know, it was a little bit hard because my kids were like both pandemic babies in different ways. The transition was hard for them. Like first, my youngest son traveled with me. He took 14 business trips with me before he was 10 months old. It was like more than one trip a month. My mom traveled everywhere with us. My wife was still working full time. And, you know, I was nursing and I didn't want to be separated from him. And so he came with me everywhere. Then the pandemic happened and I had a second baby and it wasn't as easy to travel with like a 2-year-old and a 0-year-old and my mother, you know, she had gotten, it wasn't possible for me. And I knew that was going to happen, but it hit me so hard because it was like we had such a good thing going. And my older son is very like, literally one time, like we flew to Vegas, we landed at 1 a.m. and he like woke up and he was like, blank, 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 blank. Okay, mommy, what are we doing? Like he's just like game to go anywhere. My younger son's a little clingier and he's a little bit more of a homebody. And so it actually feels unfair to pull him with me, even when I want him to be with me. And there's this dichotomy of like, he wants to be attached to me all the time. And he doesn't like to travel as much as I do. So I constantly try to weigh those two things. And I think it's like ever evolving, you know, like things will change, like as they get older, you know, they're, it's so loud in a theater in the morning. There's so many things happening. Sorry. You know, there's like this thing I always say to my wife. It's like, I have a 5-year plan, but it's for this year. Like our plan is for right now. And for right now, this is what works best for them. For right now, this is what we're doing. And I say that to my kids. And it was hard when they were like, when my little one, when I started sort of traveling again all the time, like the Hamilton job kind of changed as we lowered the number of companies in the US. And it actually had me traveling more. And every time I would leave, my younger son would be in hysterics for hours. And so I started like leaving in the middle of the night. And then she's like, well, that's not great because then he wakes up and I'm alone with him for hysterics. You know, so it's just like, it was trying to find that balance. Now he's a little older and it's like, mommy always comes home. But like right now I'm gone from them for like 18 days. I flew home on my day off and I had intended on flying home before. And then the Tony's thing literally came up out of nowhere on the day off. So that was unexpected. But I flew home and he was like, woke up literally every half hour. I was sleeping next to him. He was like, mommy, are you still here? Don't leave. Take me with you. And I was like, it's so hard. It's so hard. But, you know, we have this like, mommy always comes home and they have this little like card in their sound machine at night. That's like songs I sing to them for bed. We have like things that we figure out, but it's just hard. I honestly hate it. Like I said to like a business coach that I was working with, we were like talking about like what is important to you. And I was like, if somebody said to me, Stephanie, I'll write you a check for the next 5 years of your salary, just go home. I wouldn't think twice. I would leave everything. And I love what I do. I would leave it all to be with them for this time period because it goes so fast and you don't get it back and you're only their favorite person for a short amount of time. In a different way. I know it changes. Everyone's like, it gets better. And it's like, but this time period is so fleeting and it honestly breaks me all the time. It breaks me all the time.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you so much.
transparency. Oh my gosh, this is really, and your honesty about it, because I think this really is a truth for so many.
I had this job that I was being offered. I try not to stack back-to-back long-term jobs. So it's not like I come home for 2 days and then I'm leaving for 3 weeks. I try to I come home for 5 days, I leave for 3 days. I come home for 10 days, I leave for 2. I try to do it like that. So it means I have to say no to a lot of jobs. But right now my wife is retired. She's not working. So I'm like really the sole breadwinner. And it's really hard. I called Lauren Lataro and she is someone that I just look up to so much. And she, once when I was younger and I was sort of starting to get into choreo, she was like, if you ever have questions about doing this, call me. And, the second she found out I was pregnant, she left a bag of my boppy was hers. It was a hand-me-down. She left me a bag of hand-me-downs and she's like, congratulations on becoming a Broadway mommy. Here's a bag of stuff. She's just such an incredible woman. And I called her a few months ago and I was like, I don't know what to do. I have 4 back-to-back jobs. And she was like, if it's not going to fill your cup or your bank account in a way that is going to serve your family first, you have to say no. And you have to know that that means a little bit less money this year, maybe a little bit less people being like, Stephanie will take that, but you have to stand up for yourself. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. During this process, my son graduated kindergarten and the kids, we are now centrally located in Florida. We bought a place there over the pandemic and then we decided to stay there. They go to this really cool, the schools there are just amazing where we are. And so his kindergarten graduation was there during rehearsal. And in the contract, I was like, I'm going to leave for this. And the director, who I love him very much. He was like, my daughter's graduating kindergarten and I'm not going. And I'm like, that's your choice. I'm not making that choice. And if you want me to make that choice, you'll have to find yourself a new choreographer. And he was like, great. And I personally have had a series of those moments in my life only because I really am serious. I'm like, I'm not going to do this. I'd rather be there for that 2-hour thing where he's going to sing Sunshine with hand gestures. I want to see that, not on a video. I want to be there for that. And you'd be surprised how many times people say yes. It's we're so afraid that people are going to judge us for asking for that. But isn't that what we want more of? Isn't that what we want to say is okay? And no, I can't be at everything. He had a dance show the week before that I missed, but I don't know. I think part of it is yes, it breaks me all the time, but also I know that I have talked myself into knowing where my boundaries are. So I feel like I don't cross my own boundaries in a way that I might have in my early 30s.
Yeah.
So that is also a thing that I think that comes with age that is so lovely. We have more wrinkles, but so much more insight. And it's thank God.
Thank God. I mean, that's people here. I remember I was 40 when I had my first kid. And everyone was like, well, how old are you going to be when they're graduating? And I'm like, I won't even know which one is which because I'm probably going to be in the home. You know what I mean? But bring it, because I feel like am more equipped to be a parent in the way that I want to be a parent because of my age. So listen, if I was 20, I would have had a million kids, which I want a million kids.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would have been a great mom at all.
Yeah. It's so different. It is such a different way. I think the same thing all the time. I'm like, what would I have done?
Yeah, the boundaries thing. I personally am still working on that. And it's really inspiring to hear. You just need to set that boundary and stand by it. As dancers, I think, again, going back to the way that we were trained, we didn't speak up.
Yes, totally.
Everything we were all yes, 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 yes.
Mhm.
As a single mom, I'm like, okay, I need to be working a lot.
Mm.
And I had a job. That was when Los Angeles caught on fire. I went into this weird state that I'm just not proud of, where I was literally Los Angeles was on fire. We were evacuated and I was supposed to fly out 2 days from then. And in my mind, I was like, I'm going to fly out. But I was instead of saying, I need to be home with my babies who are completely traumatized right now, I was like, okay, I have to leave. And I was holding it inside. And then the director called me and he said, listen, I can't imagine what you're going through right now.
Wow.
We need to postpone this project. We can postpone it. I burst out crying because I was like, this is the support that I need. And Why was I so afraid to speak up about it?
But
So I'm
what's so powerful about though is that the instinct is I have to work to provide for my kids.
Right.
And it's like that voice is so loud. To me, that's what I hear from that. You know, it's like it's yeah, you were sacrificing your boundaries for your children. And
Yeah.
that's so hard when we're put in those positions.
Yeah, it is. And like you, I bring my kids, they're here right now.
I
and
know, I love that. And it's so hard, but it's so great.
So hard, but it's so great. And I'm at the studio focusing, and then all of a sudden it's like done.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh,
Yes.
let's go to the playground. Let's go to, World Trade Center. Let's go do this. Let's go do this
Yes.
shop. And it's just, yeah, I'm like, whew, it's a lot, but it's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know if you find this, and I'm curious to hear your opinion. The greatest gift in my creative process, only because I like an adventure, so I like when things are a little bit hard and have to problem solve. But I used to be such a prep, like I would prepare and I would stress for weeks about, like I'm choreographing the show and I would stress about it and then I would choreograph a little something and now I have writer's block. In 2023, I took 7 jobs and they were back to back and I was still managing Hamilton. And it was crazy because literally like a job would end and it would start the next day of the next job. And it was like, I didn't have the pre-pro time to go in. And so it was like, wake up at 5, choreograph for an hour, feed the kids at 6, go to the gym at 7. It was like the time management was so crazy. But the long story long I'm trying to get to is the trust that you have to have in your creative process, the way that I like talk to God and source. And I'm like, show me the piece, show me it in my brain and I will recreate it. And I will be okay with draft number 1.5 because I don't have any time to get to draft 4. And it's like that trust has helped me let go of so much. I still have the voice in my head that's like, you suck, that's not good enough. Let's do it again. Like, all of that. But I don't have the weeks and time uninterrupted to pine over 8 counts anymore. And that has been to me such an interesting thing. I almost feel like I'm an observer and this trust that has to come up and this new relationship with myself and the voice inside is so cool.
Creative Mamas Unplugged is produced by Breatheasy Productions with music by Jeremy Jurin. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to give my mama 5 stars and keep coming back. Thanks to us kids, there are plenty of stories to tell. And you are not alone. Bye for now.